The best of money matters. Under the radar.
You're listening to Money FM 89.3, and it's now time for Under the Radar with me, Chua Tian Tian. Now, in today's session, we speak with a trailblazer in the Asian electric vehicle industry to find out all about the new venture it is involved in. Now, joining us all the way from Taipei, Cheng is co-founder of electric vehicle maker NIO and was formerly the chairman of Fiat China Automobiles and is now the chairman of a company called M Mobility. Now, M Mobility is a startup that aims to commercialise ideas formed within a Foxconn-led consortium called MIH platform. Now, for context, MIH, or Mobility and Harmony Consortium, is an organisation initiated by Foxconn to create an open EV ecosystem that promotes collaboration in the mobility industry. Now, the consortium realises key technologies, develop reference designs and standards, while bridging the gap between members in the ecosystem to lower barriers of entry, accelerate innovation, and shorten development cycles. Now, the goal here is to bring strategic partners together to build the next generation of EV, autonomous driving, and mobility service applications. Now, back to M Mobility, the startup crafts EV solutions tailored for mobility service providers and fleet operators. It aims to connect innovative EV designs with the global supply chain. But what does the firm mean exactly by that? And what is its value proposition exactly? And in the meantime, M Mobility had in October 2023 became the first open EV platform licensee of the MIH consortium. But how has it made use of MIH consortium's platform thus far? Now, what is also worthy of note is that the firm is said to be backed by Indian infotech services and consulting firm Tech Mahindra and is working with Sumitomo Corporation EV services arm to change the way people view mobility. But really, where do the different players come in to support M Mobility's growth? Lots of questions over here, and joining me on the line is Jack Cheng, chairman at M Mobility. Jack, welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Great to have you on board with us, Jack. We've briefly talked about M Mobility as a startup that aims to commercialize ideas within a Foxconn-led consortium called Mobility and Harmony Consortium. But first things first, what is the value proposition and business model of M Mobility? Does M Mobility see itself as an EV designer or EV maker, or does it see itself as an EV consultant? How does it work?
It can be, you can see it from this angle that M Mobility is a go-to-market platform to help localize and materialize the idea from the consortium. The MIH consortium was an open platform, and M Mobility was one of the players that can really grounded the work. What we have done now is really trying to be a software solution provider, including mobility and so on. And also that we will be looking for a platform. So if you are calling us as an EV designer, we can be an EV solution provider with the design that could be available from the industry. Since the open platform has a lot of partners, they will be able to provide that kind of a hardware platform. And for M Mobility, we'll be the software solution provider to put the mobility solution on it. So this is going to be a very cooperative way of doing the new EV platform.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like when we search M Mobility on the internet, MIH Consortium comes up as well. What is the relationship between M Mobility and MIH platform? Is it right to understand that they are two separate entities or organizations?
It's separate. Since the open platform was a nonprofit organization, when I was the executive of the MIH, we were looking for partner as an open AI kind of a approach that we're bringing all kind of a partner to work on the solution. And M Mobility is a profit organization. We'll be helping anybody want to go to market and also source to any platform that's available in the industry.
And since you talked about MIH, I do want to provide some additional information to our listeners. You were leading MIH previously, and before that, you are the co-founder of NIO, the EV maker as well. But moving forward, Jack, let's zoom in on your products and verticals. M-Mobility looks at services relating to fleet electrification, product enhancements, and the streamlining of EV operations. And these three broad categories can then be split into subcategories like your vehicle management, carbon management, chargers and installation, and even more. It's very wide-ranging. How would you segment the business then? Which is the most important segment ultimately when it comes down to finances?
That has to go back, Tian, to my period in NIO. When we set up NIO, we were looking for a new technology, both software and hardware. And then software-defined vehicle become more mature, that people really believe software will be the future of managing the future mobility, including everybody's now using the B2B approach. You can see many B2C player. It's already a very congested space that people are competing each other. The new player are coming out, by months, not even by year. So with that, we believe that the future mobility should be more of providing any solution to the B2B player, so they can take care of vast customer base, including now their service company like Uber or Didi, or even some logistic provider, including like a DHL or the logistic provider. For those people that are covering most of the transportation, that I think we can help them finding a solution and getting the platform right, including software and hardware. So the carbon, the driver, the energy management system, the fleet management system, as you mentioned, which we're working on, that could be using also the AI enhanced package to make sure that we get the data right and then OTA and improve all the software platform in a better way.
And I understand your customers are not just fleet managers as well. They are also like public transport operators in major cities. Is that correct as well?
Yes, correct. Any customer that are really B2B that's really needing the help. That's so far we see a lot of people are competing on B2C. That B2B should be our focus.
Now, you talked about how you want M-Mobility to become a tier 0.5 supplier for the automotive industry. What do you mean by a tier 0.5 supplier, and which is the consumer group that you're targeting then? Are we looking at fleet managers, or are we looking at the big engineering firms as well?
It's a diversified approach. As you see, there are some players like the European or the North America tier one player. They try to be also providing car as a contract manufacturer for some of the OEM customer, but eventually they are really providing components and solution to those OEM. So making that as a tier 0.5 could be a better approach before we step up to be the really customer provider for the B2B. But it's very hard to do the branding as well. At the moment, if you are B2C, you have to work very hard on not only the capital, but also the branding, marketing, promotion. That takes away a lot of resource. But if we are focusing on making the software right, making the platform right, so we don't need to be like the OEM and branding, but also we don't need to be like a components only, because component tier 1 or tier 2, those guys are making the component. It's very hardware driven. So the 0.5 is really somewhere in between software and hardware, and then providing a B2B solution without branding. Or I can do branding too, but that needs a lot of a partner to really contribute to the value proposition.
So a little bit of a white label supplier in between software and hardware.
Exactly.
I see. I do want to take some time to talk about M-Mobility's backers, Jack. Air Mobility is said to be backed by Indian infotech services and consulting firm Tech Mahindra. It is also working with Japanese EV services firm Hakobune, or the EV arm of Sumitomo Corporation, to change the way people view mobility. A question though, where do these players fit in your growth plans? Are they your investors, tech partners? And if so, what is the amount of capital injection we're looking at?
Well, so far, we're now still working on the capital injection. In the initial stage, we are not being very focused on the financial yet, because I think we have enough startup money to go with the potential market, including Japan. As you see, Sumitomo and also Tech Mahindra having a joint venture called SCTM, Sumitomo and Tech Mahindra joint venture in Japan, helping MOB to really localize and also making sure the platform is available to the Hakopune project. So with that, Sumitomo and Tech Mahindra's partnership, we'll be able to get into Japanese market quicker. On the other hand, that also Sumitomo has a lot of resource, not only in the so-called mobility field, but also in the material, in software, and the global reach. So making the Japan market right is the first step. And Tech Mahindra, as a India, is a Mahindra and Mahindra Group company with their background in India. So the future potential in India could be a very, very good opportunity for any player, particular the vast market development opportunity. So Japan and India, the focus also in Southeast Asia will be our next approach. But making the Japanese market right is our really first step.
I see. We'll definitely talk about geographical markets in just a bit. But if I could follow up on a point that you mentioned earlier, you said that Air Mobility has enough startup capital to go around at this point in time. So where is the startup capital coming from? Is it founders' own equity and capital, or is it from outside backers such as Foxconn or MIH?
Not Foxconn yet. I think we are funding it from some local Taiwanese supply chain player. I can't name the people yet because we have the NDA. But so far, as you know, Taiwan is very strong in semiconductor and AI server. And for those players who are very strong and trying to be in the mobility world, they are chipping in. So I don't think that the financial issue is a problem. The key issue is how do you get the partnership from this part of the world, from Taiwan or Southeast Asia, and also from our attached to the Chinese supply base. That could be something that we'll be able to find a diamond in the rough and make sure our partnership is right and go into the market directly.
And that brings us to the next point or next part of the conversation on geographical markets. Taking a look at your geographical presence, Jack, the firm is headquartered in Taipei. So what is the reason behind setting up your headquarters in Taipei, and what is the role of your operations in Taiwan? Which are the most important markets for Air Mobility when it comes down to money? I know you mentioned India and Japan. Tell us a bit more about that.
That's a very good question, Tian Tian. We're sitting in the middle of the world of innovation and the development. Keeping the political issue away, that Taipei first is my home. I'm from Taiwan, and also we have a lot of reach to the supply chain here, including our supporter, a partnership. And as you see that we have many people that are really into semiconductor and the AI. So tap into the talent and resource in Taiwan, and plus those Taiwan's connection to Southeast Asia and Japan and Korea are very, very critical. So I think that's the whole reason we're now based in Taipei. But having said that, this conglomerate becoming very important to have reach to some other countries. So we set up something already in Japan, in Tokyo too. And then we'll be setting up something in the other countries. So this is probably the initiative that we started from Taipei.
We will zoom in more on geographical markets later on because quite a lot to talk about when it comes down to Japan as well. But some recent developments first surrounding air mobility to set the stage for what's to come. Air mobility in October 2023 became the first open EV platform licensee of MIH Consortium. So what does it mean to be the licensee of MIH Consortium in terms of the data that you can access? How have you utilized the open platform to come up with viable and also scalable mobility solutions some 1 year down the road?
Well, while we were in the MIH stage, there are many good solutions I think we can tap into. For those non-profit organizations solution, I think they have been presenting to the MIH Consortium in a way that can help making the future EV platform cleaner, simpler, and also time to market faster. We now have that kind of a partnership, and we say for those things, they can authorize M-Mobility to find a market for them. So we'll be able to monetize for those people that are already solution provider reached. And we are really seeing this as an opportunity to get on the best talents and solution for them. And the other thing is that for the future, I think because AI is, very proactively in this region, I think we'll be playing a role to help expediting the AI solution on any solution on the mobility. So M-Mobility really becoming the future AI enhanced solution. So that's the way I think reciprocally we will be able to help each other.
For now, though, the MIH Consortium, at least in October 2023, it unveiled the Project X 3-seater concept car. And this is an electric car that supports autonomous driving. It also has a very compact design and swappable battery system. And the idea is that the Project X car could better serve the urban population who prioritize access to vehicles over ownership. So as an open EV platform licensee of MIH, how far do you think Project X can be commercialized with M-Mobility? How are you capitalizing on that?
I think it's more important now on the software side and the approach for the future platform. I would be able to pitch to anybody in the world, including any region that are really interested in getting a common platform for B2B. And this platform, if they want it now, I think we can get it down in 2 to 2.5 years. So that's the thing. But first thing first, go to marketplace. You need to get the customer right. Otherwise, all the things that you develop, you are getting nowhere. So I'm getting the concept of Project X into the M-Mobility platform so we can help those customers who are consider this X platform is available to them. So answering your question right, 2 to 3 years is a fast development cycle compared to others. But as you see, there are many players now coming out and they are using computer on wheels concept and AI on wheels concept to develop the future mobility. So that's the game that we are playing.
Okay. Now, if you're just tuning in, we're now in conversation with Jack Cheng, Chairman at M-Mobility. While Jack taking a look at the road ahead, you mentioned in an interview with the Commonwealth magazine that was in November 2024 that you're looking to tap the Japanese market because at that point of the interview, Japan is the second largest EV market in Asia behind China. But if we look at the market penetration rate, that stands at just 2%. Not to mention that those car makers in Japan, they seem to set their sights on gas-powered vehicles and hybrids. So what are the opportunities for you in Japan? How have you tapped those opportunities?
And you can see, Tian-Tian, the recent struggle of the Japanese industry, the legacy versus the newcomer. There's been if you consider it's a threat, it's coming from the other side of the strait. But if you consider this is a competing advantage, that you will see the 2% penetration will go up like China to 50% at the longer term. This is going to happen as you see the expedition of human AI approach. They needs to be localized. They need to be data driven. They also need to be very software driven. With that, I see Japan as a huge opportunity. If the 5 million cars industry could be 20%, that's 1 million car already. It's a huge market. So I see that is a great thing that to happen. And basically the Asia culture is very similar. The user experience becomes so important. All the young generation, they need something real time on hand. And then also they don't really want the ownership of a mobility anymore. They want to be able to enjoy the journey and also enjoy all the connection to the data. So I believe this is a huge opportunity to Japan. And with Japan's success, then most of our Asia Pacific friends will be able to enjoy, because Japanese industry having a very good reputation in the Asia Pacific will help expediting all the localization of the mobility in the future.
So, Jack, if I could follow up, right? I believe Air Mobility has introduced a number of handshake between industry players for public transportation in Japan. First, tell us more about them. And also, on the flip side, when it comes down to engaging the ecosystem in Japan and going to market there, what are the challenges that you face?
I believe that the Japanese geographic distribution is on most of the population on Shinkansen, that kind of the strip.
Yeah.
And for the remote countryside and the mobility provider availability, there could be a challenge. So I would believe that outside of the Osaka, Tokyo, Nagoya, Fukuoka, those big cities, there's still a lot of mobility needs that needs to be resolved, particularly on the last mileage delivery, plus also the transportation. So the people mover and the cargo mover for those remote countryside, particularly when there is a natural disaster, that this platform will be helping a lot. So from the customer point of view, I think we'll be able to help those. Those are the challenges, and those are also the opportunities.
So if we look at business growth from now till let's say the end of the decade and the longer term, is there a set CAGR range that you have in mind for the business? What will be the key drivers of growth, and beyond Japan, where are you going to next?
I believe that the biggest market outside of Japan, Asia Pacific, you can see either Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, plus Philippines. Those are the huge population countries. Some of the countries hit over 100 to 100 million people. Indonesia and Philippines, for example. For those, I see that the Japanese has been established a lot of a good connection with our partner in Sumitomo or in other trading houses. They all have presence in those countries. That's the place that we are targeting.
So, Jack, even as we set our sights on the longer term, we do see some headwinds in the short term, including a slowing global EV demand in major markets, Tesla's rejuvenation of that Model Y being a case in point, increased US-China trade tensions as well. How will Air Mobility react to those short-term volatilities?
I think that the Japan and also the Asia-Pacific approach, anything outside of China will be helping those people that are interested in this region, that from North America. If from U.S.-China relationship is either competing or is cooperation, currently it's more on the competing stage. But there is no winner if you keep hurting each other in the trade deficit and also other tariff things. I believe firmly cooperation is the way. We'll be having another option for America to really look into Asia and say, hey, in Japan or in Southeast Asia, we have this availability for you, supply chain wise, the talent wise, also the technology wise. That can help making the global competition or fierce situation better.
And finally, before we let you go, Jack, what are some of your goals for M-Mobility in the longer term? Do you intend to merge it with a bigger player like MIH, Foxconn? Do you aim to go for an IPO once it reaches a sizable scale? And also, what are some of the future immediate plans for M-Mobility for the new year?
Anything could be happening. I think that our first step is making the market right. Go to market when I really get disengaged with the previous consortium approach was I am a profit organization. I want to make sure that everybody make money. And also I want to make sure also our future investor make money. If there is an opportunity to do that, I'll do that for the future IPO process. But at the moment, the most important thing is for go to market, to get the market right. So that's our approach.
Thank you so much for the insights, Jack. That was Jack Cheng, Chairman at M-Mobility. Thank you so much for joining us on Money FM 89.3.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.